Hey everyone, welcome to this radio channel. And I want to talk about different aspects of propagation, but mostly today we'll focus a little bit on how geomagnetic storms affect shortwave. And I've seen so many posts yesterday about the band conditions and people sharing, oh, the bands are dead, not worth it to turn on the radio. Okay, I want to put things straight here because people tend to look at a website, say, oh, the K index is at 7, and the other website says, oh, conditions are poor, so, well, why not? I'm not going to listen to shortwave today. And that's not exactly how it works. Because I think people take these numbers and they just say, oh, shortwave's dead. Okay, I got something else to do. And it's very complex the way that it works. Technically, okay, we've been having in the past 24 hours really strong geomagnetic storms, and the reason is there's the solar wind has been kind of a little faster than usual in the past few days, and the fact that we're close to the equinox, we're close to this period of time for some reason. March and September are the 2 months where the solar wind has the maximum effect on the Earth. So it doesn't take much to actually trigger geomagnetic storms when that happens. And yesterday, geomagnetic activity, the K index reached 7, if not 8, and that means geomagnetic storming, major geomagnetic storms. So if you're in a very dark environment, you probably noticed that maybe you've seen auroras at night in the night sky, especially if you live pretty northerly. And I've seen so many reports of all sorts of things. People saying, well, band conditions are poor. I don't hear nothing. And that's the thing. You need to know how to look on shortwave and how to listen. Basically, first of all, I'll be posting all links to the 3 websites that I have here. First one is a link to this propagation website, which is a simple, direct to the point information. You've got 3 numbers here, and these 3 numbers are interesting. Solar flux is the quantity of solar energy that hits Earth. Basically, we'll put it like that. It's calculated with a basically a radio telescope, and they listen to the quantity of noise that the sun sends out, and they just put it into a number and say, well, that means the sun's output of energy is at this level in this frequency range. And usually it goes pretty well. The more noise the sun will emit, the more it's active, and the more the ionosphere is good for higher frequencies. So here we see a solar flux of 81, which is the lowest I've seen in a little while, and that's not very high. Solar flux goes from 60 to 400, and typically I've seen maximum activity of the sun where solar flux were like 350. Uh, this solar cycle, it's not as high. Solar cycle is much lower than the other ones that I've seen in the past. Typically, what you want is a solar flux that's at least above 100, if possible. But we have to make out, just live with the fact that it's like this. There's nothing we can do about that. So 81 is a little low. So you'll know that the maximum usable frequency, that's the highest frequency supported on the shortwave bands, will be lower as this number gets lower. So if you have a solar flux of 200, 10-meter band will probably be open. Even at 100, I've often heard the 10-meter band, which is at 28 megahertz, support communications. At 80, chances are the 10-meter band, 28 megahertz, is not very good. And it lowers the maximum usable frequency. Then you've got the A and the K index. They are related one to the other. The A index is A for average. It's the average geomagnetic activity in the past 24 hours. 77 is quite high. K index is the geomagnetic activity in the past 3 hours. This is updated every 3 hours. This is 5. And you see they are color coded. Red means it's not that fantastic. But, you know, there's always this goes up and down during the day and depending on the activity. So it might be 5 now, but in 6 hours from now it might be 3, 2, and basically what you'll have is green, yellow, and red coloring. Green means that it's not too bad. Yellow, getting a little, high, and red means we're in geomagnetic storms. Now there's minor and major geomagnetic storms. I'll also give you solarham.net, which is a nice, very well represented, very graphical way of once again viewing the sun's activity. You have these nice graphs, including this one that shows, the K index. It reached 7, and basically you want the K index to be as low as possible for good activity. But you know what? Say you decide that you want to listen to shortwave, and you're like, okay, look at this. K index is really high. You'll notice that the bands are probably close to dead on some occasions. Last night I did listen for a few hours, and I mean stations that would usually come in very well, like China Radio International on 6020, was not there at all. It gives you an idea of how it affects shortwave propagation because it increases absorptions of signals. And typically, east-west signals are much more affected than north-south signals. So anything that's to the east, to the west will probably not be there or be very, very weak. But it also gives opportunities. When this is high, if you tune the bands carefully, you might notice that stations from the south of your position are stronger than usual. For example, yesterday the 60-meter band, which is a tropical band, Radio Progreso from Cuba 4765, which was much stronger than usual. I had S9 plus 20 on that station. Many stations from the south are better than usual usually. So, and I've seen this on the chat room. We were talking about propagation, and there were some comments about people saying, "Wow, I hear stations I don't usually hear, or they are much stronger than usual, even though I don't hear other stations." So that's why, whatever the condition, give the bands a listen, because yes, maybe your favorite station's not there, but yes, there are some opportunities when this happens. Shortwave is rarely totally dead. It will be dead sometimes totally in what we call a shortwave radio blackout. And this typically happens more when there's solar flares. And this is not the case right now. We're not having solar flares or anything. Sun is rather quiet. But it is interesting to see that we are having, this information available to us and to try to, have a listen. So don't do what I've seen a lot of people do on the different websites and forums yesterday. People say, well, band conditions are absolutely horrible, means there's nothing on shortwave. There is something on shortwave. You just have to know where to listen and what to listen to. And stop, one of the big things that I see all the time is stop listening to the same frequency band all the time. There's a reason why you got a dial and you've got buttons to change frequency. Listen everywhere. Do a big scan of the shortwave bands. People tell me, oh wow, you get these logs of things that I've never heard before. Yeah, because I don't just tune one particular band. I go through all the frequencies, even the frequency ranges where I will probably almost never hear something. I will go through these frequency ranges, and I bet you from time to time you hear that surprising little signal that's there that you never hear. So take a listen and use these websites that I've just shown you here. The links will be in the description below the video. So there's this one for propagation, very direct to the point propagation information. Solar ham, more complete, and even some reports as you see here on the right side. And space weather, which is a mix of astronomy and, of course, space weather, as they say, geomagnetic storming, and the sun itself. So take a look and try to get the best out of your shortwave radio listening by going through these websites. If you enjoy my videos, want to subscribe to my channel, you'll be informed when new videos are online. If you have any comments, questions, anything you want to know about Windows, about Windows, yeah. I'm not on the Windows channel here. About shortwave radio, sorry. Please feel free to ask. It's always fun to have your feedback, and hope to have you follow us on this channel.